Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. The journey continues. Yes, I've received another order that I placed on Etsy from the PENBBS official store. You know, they keep coming out with new models and I keep saying, let's add those to my collection. Let me see how they write. Let me see how they're made. So they have now the 323 that's aluminum and it's anodized. And they made some interesting changes to the 323 design. So we'll look at those two pens. And we're also going to look at another 471 I got, which is probably going to be my last one, but I had to get it. The price was great. And I buy 3 pens when I buy on Etsy, because 3 of them fit in the box, and it's $6 shipping no matter how many you put in the box. So that just adds $2 to each order for shipping, which is very reasonable. So let's take a look at these pens and let's see if they're worth you considering them. Before we look at the 323s, let's do a quick look at these 471 I got. And this is, as you probably guessed, black. Number 15 in the PENBBS color system. As with all the PENBBS pens, this is just exceptionally well made. It feels great in the hand. For the price, to me, this is an excellent buy. I put it up there with the Moonman Onkai and all the other similar type of pocket pens that are this design, but none of them have that number 6 nib that this one has. So that makes it quite unique. And this is a rounded fine. And those of you that watch my videos know how I've had some challenges with these, but I'll let you know when I get around to inking this up if that nib is a challenge or does it write like I expect all PENBBS nibs to write. Very well. Wet, smooth, consistent. So here are the aluminum 323s. I have to admit that this is another pen that I didn't see coming. I saw people make references to it and talk about it, but why they chose to do this is intriguing. So the top one is 107, which is the lilac color, and the one below it is the 108 mocha color. I mean, these colors are quite impressive. You know, I've anodized pens from Karas Customs, and these colors are as good, on par with that type of quality. You know, one of the reviewers, and I'll put a link up there in the description to their review on Scrivener, talked about this being slippery, and I can't disagree with that. I mean, it feels really nice in the hand. It's really smooth. You know, aluminum is a little cool to the touch, but it has a low heat capacity, so it warms up quickly. So this is basically the same dimensions and shapes as the acrylic version of the 323. You know, there's slight dimensional differences, but nothing significant, nothing that you wouldn't probably equate to just variations in manufacturing techniques. And these pens do roll, so that's one of the challenges to them. And I think this is a good color to compare. I mean, so basically you got like a matte, that anodized finish is like a matte color. And of course with the acrylic you have the pearlescence, chatoyancy, the depth, the variety. So that's why I'm impressed that they went with this anodized aluminum for this particular pen model. And we'll compare it to the 350 and the 380 a little bit later in the video. The other interesting thing is this cap takes just slightly more than one turn to uncap it. And again, this has that rounded medium steel nib. The threads are at the end of the section. My first response is kind of like Franklin Christoph does on their 03 and and a number of different models. There is 2 step-ups from the section to the barrel. There's a little bit of sharpness to them, but nowhere near like the 380, and easily I can accommodate that. The branding is here on this band that's covered with the cap when you have the pen capped. So that's an interesting change. So you got these threads here, you got the branding here. The rest of the pen is the same. This pen does not post. It's not designed to post. It's designed to fit ergonomically in your hand, and that it does, just like the original 323 that's in acrylic. This section just unscrews, and we'll see one more difference, at least something that I notice. The O-rings at the bottom of the threads, whereas in the acrylic ones it's above the threads, which would make sense if you're going to eyedrop the acrylic pen, but you wouldn't eyedrop an aluminum pen. And it has the standard PENBBS converter in it. Yeah, the threads work nice, and you get that resistance as you put that barrel over top of the O-ring. So that's kind of basically the pen. One thing that's nice about the 323, there seems to be a nice cap liner inside there. With the acrylic pens, they machine the cap so it fits tightly up against the section, and here they put in an insert, which is nice. Let's compare some anodized aluminum pens. We have the 323 here. I think that lilac is a very nice color. Here's the red 350, which was their first aluminum pen. It is a lot shorter, but it does post if you would like to post it. Here's the 380, which is the previous latest aluminum pen from PENBBS before the 323 and after the 350. And that certainly is a much longer pen. It has those nice facets in it, but as you can see, they're not lining up anymore when you put the cap on. And just to put things in comparison, here's a Keras Customs ink in tumbled brown. So all of these are interesting colors, and if you enjoy metal pens, here's a great variety to choose from, and at many different price points. The 350 and the 323 are similarly, they're both under $20. The 380 is closer to a little bit over $30. And again, prices vary depending upon where you buy, when you buy, how much you're willing to shop for price. And of course, the Keras Customs is close to 100, but it is, not in the same vein, but I like all these metal pens, and these are not all my metal pens, but this is the ones that I have that are anodized. So here they are uncapped, and the real standout is the Keras Customs with the brass section, and I got the brass section specifically to weight the pen towards the nib, and also the way it feels in the hand. I like that. The 380, the 350, and the 323 are, I wouldn't say they're all typical PENBBS sections, but they are pretty good to it. You got a two-tone nib here in the 350, which was a special order when I did it. So let's zoom in a little bit on those sections. I think it also has a great Bach titanium nib, but that adds a little bit of money to the price of the pen. These two have that new rounded medium nib, which I do like quite a bit. And this is your standard PENBBS nib that has a little bit of an upturn at the end. But all these sections I find very comfortable, and I don't find any of them particularly slippery. This is also a good time to talk about the step up, because the ink has the same type of step up. So when it's capped, it's a nice streamlined design like the 380, but unlike the 380, this has a slight roundness to it, so it's not sharp like this one is, and it's a lot more comfortable to use and hold. Speaking of pens with threads at the end of the section, here are two Franklin Christophs, a Model 2 and a Model 3. They have a block thread, so it's a coarser thread different than the more fine machine threads here that PENBBS used. And I really prefer the block threads, I think, in general. There's no cross-threading issues with them. They feel very secure. You know, they both work well, but these are more preferable. And I'd say if I had to pick one of these three pens as far as a comfortable writing thing, I would pick the O2. It's a little bit bigger section, and it just feels better in the hand. The O3 is a little bit narrower, and so is the 323, but I don't find any of them objectionable, and they can all be used for long periods of writing. So I needed to use an ink I haven't shown in a pen before. I've shown the ink, but this is Monteverde Wisdom, and it's part of the Emotions series. You know, a little description of the Emotions series, and then what Wisdom is, or what they talk to about it with the color. And there's the whole series that's in the Wisdom series. Here's a color card. I mean, it's definitely a purple. It's definitely in a dark series of purple. Looks like a little bit more blue than red. And if we look at the chromatography, we'll see what we expect. It is a purple, so it's red and blue. And that blue looks a little tealish, so maybe there's a touch of green in here too. This is my 3 fills on the converter. As you can see, it's pretty much 100% full. Yes, a roll stop is a very useful thing to have with a pen like this, because without the roll stop, it will roll. As we mentioned, this is a 323 in shape, so it fits very nicely in the hand. And I have to admit that I don't find the section any more slippery than I've found other sections. So that's nice. I mean, the pen feels good in the hand. It's relatively light. I'll give you the weight of the pen, capped and uncapped. And as we mentioned, it doesn't post. So this is the medium rounded end nib. Let's see how it writes. I mean, I have a few of these medium steel nibs and I like them a lot. And this Wisdom ink works really well. I've been very happy with the Monteverde inks that I've gotten. Very saturated colors, very good flow. And this ink and this nib work very well. Nice wet writer. So now I think we need to rank this pen. And I'm going to go for a 9.3. I like it. It's well made, great price. I think PENBBS has again outdone themselves in engineering and design and functionality. The 380 didn't quite hit the mark with me, but this pen does. I've written with a fine nib before and it's given me some challenges, but not all fine nibs are going to be that challenging. So we've reached the end of this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed a view of another new PENBBS pen. So thank you for tuning in and watching. Please like, please comment. Your feedback is appreciated. May you have many great, wonderful writing experiences. Hopefully as nice as this nib feels on paper. Put some thoughts down, share them. So we've reached the end. Bye until the next video. It's already in the works. And this works very, very well. And the color is nice.